yeah, welcome to Courier Exchange in King's Cross, and yeah, I just want to give you a big welcome and a big shout out. And yeah, look, it's mad to think when we were first speaking back in, I think it was September 2022.
A little bit earlier than that, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's around,
yeah,
yeah,
summertime.
yeah,
Yeah, end of summer, should I say? So obviously, just want to touch on really how it started for you. Uh, I've got a little bit of info, but I'd like to know where you would come from and what you were doing before, maybe stuff like that.
yeah. So before I started on the Courier Exchange, I was actually a Uber Eats driver,
Okay.
and I was going around my motorbike, and but then I said to myself, like, this isn't really what I want to do. And then I was actually doing deliveries for a Lebanese restaurant,
Okay.
and a guy that I know from there, he actually walked in, and he's the one who actually showed me about it. And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." Done my research. That's when I spoke to you.
Yeah. I remember it
And I
well.
said, I'm going to give it a try. And when I started, which is around September, everyone was telling me, "Yeah, it's the best time to start because it's the busy period leading up to Christmas. That's when there's the most jobs." So I gave it a try, signed up, literally started straight away. And September to December, I was just working from
Flat out.
flat out. I don't care whether I had to sleep in a van and go
Yeah.
do night trips to Edinburgh, Liverpool. I was doing it all. And yeah, then I said to myself, okay, cool, like this is clearly working. Let me keep going. And then because I started at the good time, when January came, I was already expecting it to be a little bit quiet.
Mm-mm.
So, but because I already had experienced the busy period, I said, okay, this is just part of the procedure. Once March came and it started picking up again, we were back on our feet. And then since then, it's just been,
Yeah, flying. And kudos to you. I know that the YouTube channel content is awesome. It's going really well. But just rewinding on that, I think when we first spoke, I think the most important thing you said to me, looking back, was I want to use you for the contacts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think where most people get confused is they come onto the Courier Exchange thinking, I'm just here to get work and that's it. They're not actually there with the mentality of, I can build a courier
Yeah,
business around
for that
it.
growth. Yeah.
And what happens is they come with an expectation that they're going to be given everything, and it kind of backfires, because if it was that easy, then everyone would be doing it.
Yeah. True.
But what the Courier Exchange is, if we focus on building relationships with the courier companies that are already on the exchange, you can now build relationships that in the future, when even if it's not your own contracts, they might have contracts that they need covered, you can get work from them and build a courier company.
And I think that comes down to word of mouth as well. And again, doing a good job, being on time, being reliable, and
Exactly.
turning up professionally. As you know, all your stuff that you turn up in, I've seen it, is professionally done. And with how things have been this year for you, can you give us a little bit of how it was this year?
So this year has been my busiest year.
Excellent.
I've only been doing the courier stuff for 2 years, so it's only my second year. However, it's been super busy. A lot of work comes from the Courier Exchange. A lot of work comes from private customers. A lot of work comes from customers that call me directly, which I initially met them through the Courier Exchange.
Nice.
So yeah, this year, sorry, has been pretty good. Can't complain. And every time I just feel like we're just growing at a fast pace. Like it kind of happened all of a sudden, really. Like it was a point where I felt, okay, we're not moving. We're doing a lot of work.
Did it have that standstill period then?
I had a standstill period. That's okay. Like, what am I doing wrong? And then I just said, you know what, let me put myself out there more. I started being more active on social media, started a YouTube channel. And I think once you put your name out there, people come to you more than you have to actually go to them.
Yeah, gravitate towards you, yeah.
And since then, it's just been growing. Like,
onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the current setup, what you've got, obviously, when we first spoke, it was, I'm going to get a van. I'm going to go through Business Choice Direct as well.
Yeah.
Who was the insurance provider? I think that was already locked in.
Yeah.
I think you already had that priced up. But then, how did you really expand on it to say? Was that when you already got the contacts, or was you already had that idea of going, I'm going to make this into what it is today?
So I had the idea that I always wanted to expand. I didn't really know how, especially because I didn't really have had courier experience doing deliveries on a motorbike, but never actually van courier experience. So what I did was I just worked on a Courier Exchange, got the experience, started to know what PODs were, the importance of being on time, the importance of having a clean van, speaking to people, articulating yourself properly. Then I said to myself, cool, I've now mastered doing this for other people. Let me try and bring in my own customers.
Bringing in your own contracts.
And that's when it kind of gave me the confidence boost of I've now got experience through the Courier Exchange of working with other companies that have given me jobs. I'm now ready to take on my own jobs. And that's when I started now looking for my own clients and building relationships.
And I think that's beautiful, because like you joined and now you're starting to build on it. You've actually expanded to a point. But the question I was actually going to ask, do you think you could have done that without the platform?
No chance. Simply because, number one, I didn't have the experience. So it's like you're going into a business blindly. You don't know what you're doing, how you're doing it. I got that experience from the Courier Exchange. And number two, my biggest moment where I realized, okay, this is possible, was I was doing a lot of work for I'm not going to say the name, but a certain shipper on the Courier Exchange. And it became a daily routine where they would say, listen, you done a great job yesterday. Can you do this again?
Yeah.
And it became a thing where during the summer of 2021, they were giving me constant jobs to the point where I was just doing work for them. And because I was just doing work for them and they trusted me, they were giving me a good rate. And it was because it was a whole day, it kept me busy throughout the whole day. Then I said, okay, this is possible because the work is there. I can now see that it's there because I'm doing it. And that opened my eyes to think, okay, there is a lot of opportunity out there.
Yeah.
I just need to find it.
So with the actual bringing on subbies, like the 2 years when that's happened, it's quite quick. You know, it's very fast. I think it's wicked. But when did the other drivers or other subbies, when did it get to a point where you thought, do you know what, I'm really busy, I need to maybe start posting or getting other vans and that side of thing?
For me, how it happened was because I started off with a Transit Courier, which is a very small van.
Short wheelbase?
It's smaller than that. It was just literally one pallet
size.
Yeah. Smaller than that. It's literally 1.4 meters. Like, yeah. The smallest van you could possibly get. So when I was doing jobs for companies, and it was fine when it was one pallet, but now I have 2 pallets, 3 pallets. I was like, okay, I can't
losing
do
that capacity.
I didn't want to straight invest in. I just paid for my insurance outright. So I didn't want to just buy a new van and do it all over again. So what I basically said was, I'm going to take on every job I can possibly get and use the Courier Exchange to sub it out. And what I did was I just basically looked for the drivers with the best feedback, not necessarily the cheapest price as everyone believes shippers do. I looked for the driver with the best feedback and I told them, please, like, you're representing me, please do a good job. And what happens is, because they did a good job, because I picked out the best drivers out of the quotes that I get, company just built that trust. And once they built that trust, they just said, okay, we want to use you to cover all deliveries, knowing that I just have a small van. So from there, I was like, okay, I can not only make money from the driving aspect, but I can also make money from getting jobs covered if I can't necessarily do it myself. And now that's when I said,
and I think that comes down to, obviously, when you're first communicating with these shippers, I think tonality is crucial. Making sure that you have that about you, which I think you do. You know, tonality is great, and obviously delivering a good service at that first point of working for someone. And it's going to be the same for your business, I'm sure. At the minute, if you get like someone who's not on time or late, you might go, you know what, I'll probably stick with who I know. And I think that's an important thing, isn't it? Getting the people who are good and who give you regular work. So touching on, there's probably one of my last questions. So what is next for you? What's in the pipeline? You know, what are you looking to do next?
I'm currently at that stage where I've worked a lot in my business. Now I want to step out and work on the business.
Okay.
In the sense of, not many people understand this, but because I was doing all the driving, I literally have no time of the day. I do all the driving. I come home, I do the invoices, I'm doing the social media, I'm doing the websites, I'm replying to emails.
Spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah. So now I'm at a stage where I want to step back a little bit, let the drivers do what they're good at doing and what they've shown that they're good at doing. And now I can focus more on building relationships, building contracts with clients, and growing like
So you're
that.
looking to chip away into the more of the market
Yeah.
to expand more. And would that mean we're getting more vans, or have you ever thought about lorries or stuff like that? Is you going that size yet, or
I've thought about it. I don't think I'll do
not yet?
lorries soon. I think that's why I'm not very experienced in the lorry section. Vans, I believe that I quite mastered it, so I'm quite good at it. So for now, I'm gonna stick to what I know. But that's not to say that in the future,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. And also as well, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything you would like to ask me?
Um, yeah, I got a few questions actually.
Cool. You're making me worried now.
Now, I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think drivers or shippers could potentially do to better the industry? As
Oof, that's a cracker. I think a main thing, and many shippers I've spoken to in the time I've been here in the 8 years, is turning up presentable. You know yourself. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've seen drivers turn up in flip flops and shorts.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And I think being on time. I think being reliable. Making sure that you're letting people know when you arrive, or clearing up after yourself, taking the pallet. Where do you want me to take it? Shall I clear up? Or doing the right thing at the right time. But in this industry, you know yourself, as you just said there, communication's key.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was drivers, and what was the other question? Sorry.
no, just like what could drivers do, and then what could shippers do to also make the industry better?
I think shippers could probably give clearer instruction. I think you probably see that regularly. They might not always put weights and dimensions on bookings, and I think that can make a driver's a right headache. They don't know what they're collecting till they ring. So I think that should probably be a little bit more thought about. Don't mean mandatory, but I think you need to know what you're collecting as soon as you do it. So, any others? You said you had two more. Yeah, two more.
I just wanted to ask you as well, what do you think of, like, how important do you think brand awareness is?
With growing a business, or just
Yeah, as in
general?
growing a business in general, as is this could relate to someone who's maybe not opening a courier business, but any business in general.
I think that if you start from the beginning, be a sole trader, that's fine. You could have a sole trading name. But if you went limited, that's obviously a really good start. Business bank account, limited company, good website. And also, again, I think you're a great person to speak to about brand awareness. Everyone knows that logo these days, I think, especially the YouTube guys, and also market. But yeah, I think brand awareness is key these days. Days are gone of sitting in the yellow pages. It's whoever comes at the top of Google, right? Or whoever has the most views, or who's being seen the most, So yeah, I think brand awareness is key, because if they don't know who you are, there's going to be a lot of legwork for them to trust you, right? And I think that's where the exchange comes in. They're going to trust you because they know you're compliant with insurance, you're trackable. And that's what gives people the kickstart they need when, as you said, you're starting where you don't know where to go. But with CX, it's always going to give you that good start and help you expand. So yeah, I think that's it. And then there's one more.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to ask you.
You can ask me. It's all right.
I think actually, I was making this up as I go. Actually, I got one more.
Go on, then.
So,
hit me.
Lastly, I would like to ask, what do you think is the number one reason that people would be hesitant to join the Courier Exchange?
Ooh, hesitant. I think there is many. I think there is many reasons, but I believe majority can be not understanding what they need, how they get it, and also what it costs. And I think the courier industry in itself, there's a lot to think about. How much is the insurance? What van's best? Am I going to get work? And I think we try here a lot to get the best insurer we know, BCD, to get the insurance. We try to bring on new companies all the time who are selling jobs. And yeah, we would try to advise people in the best way to make sure that they're comfy with the investment. And again, we can touch on, maybe just lastly to wrap it up, your setup costs. What was we talking for you? Like your van, your insurance, what sort of fees are we looking at there? For your van, just your van, would be interesting to know.
I did a video actually about it, and after calculating all my costs, it was around 16,995. So basically 17 grand
Yeah,
before I even did my first job.
yeah. So for the tires hit the road, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I think that's for you. You obviously got that wrapped up. You was ready to go. But I do believe some people can be very hesitant. Is how do I get these figures? Where do I start? I want to drive. I love driving, but how do I get it up and running? We would always help with that every step of the way. But anyway, this has been lovely to meet you, Eddie. Thanks for coming down. I'm sure you've got to go out and do another job now.
Yeah,
He's got to go. He's got to go. Anyway,
I appreciate it.
lovely to see you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you, guys.